Good morning, students. Welcome back to the class on photochemistry. We have just completed Jablonski diagram. Now we will discuss Frank-Condon principle. What is Frank-Condon principle? Of course, Frank-Condon principle is also about the excitation of the electron from ground state to the excited state. When an electron is excited, due to the absorption of light, the most probable transition is the one which involves no change in the bond length. It is a single word. So the Frank-Condon principle states that if we want to excite an electron, we can excite an electron by passing light, but the excitation should not lead to any change in the bond length. So the excitation generally occurs if there is no change in the bond length. So that we will discuss in terms of energy diagrams. This is ground state. This is excited state. Now, as I said, it is the energy versus bond length. This energy profile is energy versus bond length. Say in the middle we have mean bond length. It is decrease in bond length. This side increase in bond length. That means if we move the pen little bit towards left side, it means decrease in bond length. If we move the pen towards right side within this profile, then it indicates increase in bond length. Now, when we pass light onto this molecule, electron will be excited. Now, according to Frank-Condon principle, the only excitations which involve no change in the bond length. Say for example, if it is exciting like this, that means exactly from mean bond length to mean bond length. It is an allowed excitation. According to Frank-Condon principle, it is an allowed excitation. Similarly, if it excites from the mean bond length to like this, of course it is excited to the highest level. It indicates decrease in the bond length. It indicates decrease in the bond length, but still it is acceptable. It is also an allowed transition. This is also an allowed transition. Why? Here, the change in bond length is very less. Change in bond length is very less. So this is also an allowed transition. According to Frank-Condon principle, there is also another allowed transition where the change in bond length is little higher this side, right side. Here it is greater than or not. That means bond length is little bit higher than the general value. This is also an allowed transition. According to Frank-Condon principle, this is also an allowed transition. So what are allowed transitions? The transitions which involve no change in the bond length are a very minimum and a very low change in the bond length. If the bond length changes to a very minimum value, then also it is accepted. So if the bond length decreases to a small amount, it is okay, the excitation is allowed. If the bond length is increasing to a little bit, then also it is acceptable. Then what are not non-acceptable electron excitations? What are non-acceptable electron excitations? If an electron transition leads to a very huge change in the bond length, say for example, if it is exciting from here to this much energy, this is not an allowed transition. Why? I'll give you. In the beginning, when I said about this energy profile diagram of a bond, it is an unsymmetrical parabola. That means when we reach this level, highest energy level, then what will happen? Because of this much energy, the bond will get broken. The bond is not stable beyond this energy. So the bond is stable only up to this energy. If you increase the energy, bond is not stable, bond will break. So that is why the electronic levels are shown up to this level. But after this, we may give energy. Because of that energy, the bond will break down. So the molecule will not exist. The bond will break down, so molecule does not exist. So that is why when an electron jumps from ground state to excited state to this much level, then the bond will break down, so we don't observe any electronic transition because the molecule is not stable, bond is broken. So according to Frank-Condon principle, the allowed transitions are which does not involve any change in the bond length, or which involve a small decrease in the bond length, or which involves a small increase in the bond length. But if we supply higher energies, that means if we supply to higher energy levels, the bond will easily break down so that the molecule will not be there. We don't observe any electronic transition. Now we will discuss Beer-Lambert's law. What is Beer-Lambert's law? Beer-Lambert's law is about light absorption by solutions. When we pass light onto a solution, how it absorbs light and what are the terms involved in it. Generally, we use a beam of monochromatic light. What is monochromatic light? Anyone? A beam of monochromatic light is passed through a solution of light absorbing medium. So when a molecule which is capable of absorbing light, when we prepare a solution of the molecule which is capable of absorbing light, and when we pass the light onto the solution, how it absorbs. What is a monochromatic light? So this is the light absorbing solution, and this is the length of the path, length of the light path, and nothing but length of this cell. Then when we pass light onto this material whose intensity is I naught, some amount of the light will be absorbed by the solution, that is IA, and the remaining light will be transmitted, IT. I naught is the intensity of the light, incident light. IA is the intensity of the absorbed light. IT is the intensity of the transmitted light. Now, if we want to know the amount of absorbed light, of course, it is a fixed term. When we buy the lamp, we know the intensity of the lamp light generated from the lamp. So I naught is a fixed term. IT, we can measure it in the instrument. So when light is released, remaining light transmitted through the solution can be detected by the detector. So we can also measure IT. So we can measure I naught, we can measure IT. So the remaining IA can be easily obtained by I naught minus IT. So generally in an instrument where we apply Beer-Lambert's law, there are detectors which will detect IT. So we can easily measure the quantity IA, the amount of light absorbed by the material. Now, what is monochromatic light? Monochromatic light means a light which is having single wavelength. Monochromatic light means light which is having single wavelength, right? So this is Beer-Lambert. This is the simple process of Beer-Lambert's law. Now, Beer-Lambert's law was independently derived by two scientists, Lambert and Beer. They are not collaborators. They did not work together. They have independently developed this Beer-Lambert's law. Now, what is Lambert's law? What is Lambert's law? Equal fractions of light equal fractions of the incident light are absorbed by successive layers of equal thickness of the light absorbing medium. What it means? For example, if we make this solution into 10 parts, 10 equal parts, that means each part is having equal length, then each part will absorb same amount of energy. Each part will absorb same amount of energy. So equal fractions of the incident light are absorbed by successive layers of equal thickness of the light absorbing substance. That is minus di by I, because when we pass light through the solution, it absorbs some light. So intensity of the light will be decreasing. So that is why I am using minus di, change in intensity of the light. Change in intensity of the light is proportional to dl. What is L? Thickness of the sample. So the decrease in the intensity of the light is proportional to thickness of the sample. Decrease in the intensity of light is proportional to thickness of the sample. Here I, intensity of light absorbed. L, thickness of the sample. So what is Lambert's law? When we pass light onto a solution which is capable of absorbing light, then each light absorbing, each layer will absorb equal amount of light. When we rearrange this equation, that means bring this dl this side and I that side, it becomes minus di by dl is proportional to I. What is di by dl? Because we are using minus sign, it is decrease. Decrease in the intensity with respect to length is proportional to intensity of the incident light. So alternatively, the rate of decrease of intensity with thickness of the medium is proportional to the intensity of the radiation. So the decrease in the intensity of the incident light with respect to thickness of the beam is proportional to intensity. If we increase the intensity of the light, then the absorption increases. If we decrease the intensity of the light, then absorption decreases.